About x and y intercepts. So here we have a graph where the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis, which is at the point 0, comma, and whatever the y is here. And then the x-intercept would be where the graph crosses the x-axis, which would be whatever the x is, comma, 0, because y is 0 at the x-intercept. So now let's try to do this with the equation. Here we have 2y equals 3x plus 6. Now if we plug in, let's first try to find what the y-intercept is. If we're going to plug in this point, that means x is equal to 0, and we're trying to find what the y-intercept is, which is, in this case, y1. Now remember that when something is equal to 0, and you multiply it by anything, 0 times anything would just equal 0. So looking at this equation here, 2y equals 3x plus 6, but x equals 0. So all we have to do is cover this up. We'll have 2y equals 6. Let's rewrite that. 2y equals 6, because 3 times 0 is just equal to 0. And now we can just simplify this to y equals 3. So now we know the y1 is actually equal to 3. Now let's try to do the exact same thing, but with the x-intercept. We have the point where we want to try to find what x1 equals, and we're given that the y is equal to 0. So now we'll do the same thing. Instead of covering the x though, we'll cover the y because this one is equal to 0. Now we just have 3x plus 6 is equal to 0. Let's write that out. Now we can just move this to the other side, so then we would have negative 6 equals 3x. Therefore, x is equal to negative 2. And here we have now the x1, which is the x-intercept, is equal to negative 2. Now let's check our graph, and it makes sense. So the x-intercept would be negative 1, 2. Negative 2, comma 0. And the y-intercept would be right here. 1, 2, 3. So that would be 0, comma 3. And here we have x and y intercepts.